Ah, yes. Purple Shirt asking if Toronto Top Tiers, or when Toronto Top Tiers goes back offline, will the online FS be ended? And honestly, at this point, I'm not sure. I don't want it to. I don't know if it can take the same form as it's currently taking. I think we might have to do something different with Fantasy Strike and Stun City Cyber to distinguish it from just the regular weeklies. What that would be, I'm not sure yet. I have a couple of ideas, but what I would like to see is, at the very least, do a monthly Fantasy Strike and Stun City Cyber, where we wouldn't get rid of that, and maybe it'll allow people who can't show up every week to, like, make a date of it, and we'd be able to get, you know, the Janets and the Fish Dogs and the Turbo Tacos and all these people who don't always come to the Cyber Stun Cities. And, yeah, get them to show up reliably for those online monthlies. And then we will still have our weekly in-person events. So that's my hope right now. Setting up a hybrid local is something that I have definitely considered. It's one of the things I want to see if we can work out. Logistically, it would be very difficult just because the one great thing about playing at in-person weeklies is just you shout the person's name out. And if we're trying to shout a person's name out and then get another person in Discord and get them on an internet connection that is using also potentially one or two other local streams that are happening, it's a little complicated. I don't know if that'll be the best experience. I think that's something that we should consider. Hybrid locals. How would that look? What happens when your locals are charging for registration fees, but your online ones aren't? Like, we don't want to disincentivize players like local players to go play at home instead of coming out to the weeklies. Like Purple Shirt's saying, you need, logistics are tough. You need X number of setups, each with internet connections that are reliable, that don't interfere with everything else going on at the venue. I don't want the online locals to go away either. I think they are freaking amazing and have been one of the best things to happen to a lot of games and a lot of game scenes in a very long time. Like, look, as someone who has had to go through the effort of bringing a brand new game to an in-person local and getting onboarded with not only the community, but with the TOs who are running the local. Like, I don't pay for the venue, man. That's Toronto Top Tiers that does that. I can't eat up their resources if people don't care about it. If I get two dudes who want to play Fantasy Strike, they can't be running that stream. They can't be dedicating people to running the bracket. Like, it's complicated, and it is so much freaking effort to actually get a tournament set up and get it run and train people on how to play the game right, and like get them and keep them interested. I don't want to give up what we have from the online events, which has been able to just give access to people who typically didn't have access. I want to see the online community continue and the online events continue, but there's only so much bandwidth in an organization. And when all of it's directed online, that makes it a little bit easier to accommodate some games. But you're going to need champions. You're going to need someone to champion your local games as either an online monthly or an online weekly, or getting them running at your in-person events. Frosty Light saying it's a pain in the ass to run a tournament online with people who knew what they were doing. I'd be so much dumber in person, where you're potentially showing up with someone who's never seen anything before. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I actually think it's kind of easier to do it in person, because you're just like, hey, my dude, I know you want to play, you're signing up, yeah, and you get them in the bracket, and then you just yell their name out, and people point them out to you. As opposed to, like, hoping someone joins your Discord and understand how Discord works and listens to the pings. It's interesting that you say that, Purple Shirt, that you only got into the FGC in COVID times, and I think that's going to hold true for a lot of players, where players that were either only spectators before or didn't engage in the FGC at all got into it in COVID because they're like, yo, this is fair, this is an even playing field, everyone's here, right? And so, yeah, making sure that those people can get onboarded and into the local scenes is going to be very important. And so just even knowing where the scenes exist is tough. And yes, Division, I did kind of go AWOL during that Quince round. I got a little focused on what I was saying, and then I was like, oh wow, I am just getting stomped here.